Every few years, I feel like something comes along and really shakes up the FPS genre. Whether it's Call of Duty, Overwatch or PUBG, there's always that one game that pushes things forward. Usually because someone dares to do things differently. For me, the finals feels like that shake-up. It's a game I've been playing on and off since it came out. And every time I come back, it somehow feels fresh again. Mainly because the devs aren't afraid to experiment. The finals is colorful, chaotic, fast-paced, and most importantly, it's just really fun. The finals is a fast-paced arena shooter set inside a virtual game show. It looks beautiful, with each map loosely based on a real-world location. It uses bold, bright colors to emphasize important stuff, and despite the chaos and everything else going on, it never felt too cluttered. The main mode is called Cash Out, where 3 or 4 teams of 3 fight to grab cash boxes and bank them, all while buildings are being torn apart around you and the crowd is roaring. It's really fun, and I'll dive deeper into it in a little bit, along with the other modes. The game's biggest standout, and probably its main selling point, is the destruction system. It is some of the most impressive building destruction I have ever seen in a video game. You can literally be mid-jump between rooftops, as the floor gives out underneath you. I have no idea how they managed to make it work so smoothly, with everything else going on in the game, but it honestly feels like magic. This might also be a good time to mention that it's being developed by a lot of ex-Battlefield devs, and it shows in all the best ways. Guns feel great and sound meaty, movement is smooth, and the sound design is incredible. It's also filled to the brim with great animations and high-quality weapon models. Now let's talk about how the finals actually plays. If you're familiar with any of the more recent Battlefield games, especially Battlefield 3 through 5, you'll feel right at home here. The gunplay definitely carries the same DNA. Character movement is also great. You can sprint, slide and mantle over obstacles, and each map is packed with jump pads, zip lines and other traversal tools, so getting around never feels like a chore. What I really like is how open-ended the movement feels, especially combined with the level layout and destruction system. Most of the time, if I could imagine doing something in my head, I could pull it off in-game. Another thing I want to touch on is what happens when you die. When you eventually go down, you leave behind this little plastic figure of yourself. Your teammates can revive you by interacting with it, but what really stood out is that you can actually pick it up and run with it to safety. It's a great mechanic, especially in modes where respawns are limited, as getting fully wiped can set you back by a lot. Like I mentioned earlier, the main mode of the finals is definitely Cash Out. It feels like a mix between Capture the Flag and Rush, but it's integrated so well into the game that I honestly couldn't see it working in anything else. So the way it works is, when the match starts, you first have to locate a vault, marked with an icon on the map. Once you have the vault, you have to physically carry it to one of the deposit stations on the map, which is easier said than done. Because once you're holding a vault, nearby enemy teams will know where you are. Once you get to a station, you need to defend it until it cashes out, because other teams can absolutely steal it from you. And this is where the finals truly shines in my opinion. The cash out stations are usually indoors, but because of the destruction system, you can never be 100% safe. It doesn't matter how well you're holding the point, someone can just blow the floor from underneath you. And because the station is a physical object, it can fall through multiple stories and even right out of the building. It's one of the most original game modes I've seen in an FPS in a long time, and I highly recommend everyone go and try it out. The other game modes are also really good. Power Shift is a quicker, more casual mode, where you're escorting a floating platform to the end zone. The fun thing is that the platform plows through buildings, and that will never get old. Terminal Attack is basically Counter-Strike. teams take turn attacking and defending a bomb site with no respawns. It's fine, but definitely my least favorite game mode, and honestly not what I come to the finals for. This was actually the mode that made me take a break from the game for a few seasons, when the devs tried to push it as the main game mode. I didn't enjoy the shift, and I don't think I was alone. Team Deathmatch was finally added this season. Not much to say here, it's Team Deathmatch. Great for warming up and just messing around, though some loadouts definitely feel a bit too strong at the moment. Still, it's a fun option if you want to jump straight into the action. If you're looking for more long-term progression, there's also ranked tournaments. They pit you against other teams in a ladder match, in a series of cash-out matches. Ranked usually isn't my thing, but playing it with a coordinated team is pretty fun. Before we move on, I should probably warn you that the matchmaking in the quick play modes can feel a bit hit or miss. Cash out is usually fine, but every now and again I'll end up in a string of quick play matches where my team just gets absolutely destroyed. Now, let's get to classes. When you start a match, you'll have to pick one of the 3 classes, light, medium or heavy. Each is highly customizable and have their own playstyle, movement speed and weapon options. Light is the high skill damage dealer. He feels like someone mashed together Genji, Hanzo and the Spy. He's fast, slippery and loaded with tools to deal massive damage either up close or from range. He can also dash, go invisible or use a grappling hook. And his weapons include sniper rifles and SMGs. He's definitely a fun class to play, but can also be super annoying to play against. That said, his tiny health pool helps balance things out. Medium is the jack of all trades and the team support. Think of the TF2 medic, except now he's got an assault rifle. Most of his weapons are great at mid-range, stuff like AKs and revolvers. What really makes him my favorite class is the mobility and utility he can bring to a team. He can place down jump pads and zip lines to help teammates move across the map quickly, or he can go full support with healing beams and revives. He also gets access to tools like turrets and a dematerializer, which lets you quickly erase walls or floors. Heavy is the tank. A big slow brute who's a destruction powerhouse. If you like LMGs, rocket launchers or just elbow dropping through entire buildings, the Heavy is for you. He has the most health out of all the classes and comes with a lot of survival tools like a dome shield or deployable cover. One of his abilities is literally a Reinhardt-style shield from Overwatch. I really enjoy playing the Heavy, but his size and slower movement definitely make it a bit harder to move around the map quickly. At the moment, the classes all feel pretty viable and unique. Each one brings different strengths depending on how your team wants to play. My main worry for the future is that the classes will start losing their identity. Each season brings new weapons to the game, which is great, but it also risks making all the classes good at everything. Alright, let's talk monetization. The Finals is a free-to-play game, so you know what that means. Battle passes, microtransactions, and premium currency. To be fair though, it's all cosmetic. No pay to win, no stat boosts, just outfits, weapon skins, and other flashy stuff. The Battle Pass itself is actually pretty reasonable. You can finish it fairly quickly, especially later on in the season thanks to the weekly missions and challenges. That said, I really wish it was just permanent. Being able to go through it at your own pace, even if it takes longer, would make the whole thing feel a lot less stressful. The store is also packed full of stuff, both for you and your guns, and weirdly enough, weapon animations. It's all really well made and there's a ton of variety. I think setting the game inside a virtual world really helps the artists just go wild with the designs. It's a bit too pricey for me, personally. But hey, it's there if people want to support the game or just want to look cool jumping off a collapsing rooftop. There's also a ton of cosmetics you can earn just by playing the game and leveling up your account, so don't worry too much about it. Outside of cosmetics, you also earn a different kind of currency by playing the game. You use this to unlock new guns, gadgets, and abilities for your classes. It doesn't take too long to earn and can't be bought with real money. I do feel like that recently they've become a lot more aggressive with how they advertise the store. You sometimes get ads for cosmetics when you start the game or after a match. And when you're dressing up your dude, the top row is always filled with stuff you don't own called featured items. It's a little bit icky, if I'm being honest, but it's all cosmetics, so it can be safely ignored. The Finals is definitely one of the most fun shooters I've played in years. It feels fresh, fast, and fun. The destruction and movement system also add a layer you just don't get in a lot of other FPS games. Cash Out is the clear standout. But is the game perfect? No. Some modes work better than others. Monetization has crept in a bit harder this season, and matchmaking can be rough sometimes. But when it works, it really works. So whether you're here for the destruction, the gunplay, or just want something new, I highly recommend the Finals. And as always, thank you for watching.